James Cameron has returned for his third part in the Avatar series, Avatar: Fire and Ash. But with 16 long years and nearly $1 billion in cost, it's time to see if this franchise is worthy of being one of the big names. Avatar: Fire and Ash releases in cinemas today, the 19th of December 2025. And I've already seen it, so I'm here to discuss whether the 3-hour 20 runtime and the 3D effect is worth watching. Taking me back to 2009, the first Avatar released in cinemas with a whole 3D experience, and this changed the game. It was truly unlike anything we had ever seen before and felt like the next step in technology for what movies could become. And with the rise of 3D at the time, it was just a next-gen experience. You would go to the cinema, pay for your 3D glasses, and immerse yourself in the world of Pandora. And it wouldn't be a hot take to say that at the time this film was a lot of people's favourite film. It was incredible. It was a milestone. I understand why it was so loved. Fast forward us 13 years, we reach Avatar: The Way of Water, which again changed the game. But I truly feel that this film was a hit or miss. With such a long wait and so much technological advancement in all the films prior to that, we were expecting something huge. And truthfully, we did get that. There is no denial that Avatar: The Way of Water is absolutely stunning in every regard, and with the rise of IMAX cameras and IMAX screenings, this film was a phenomenon to watch. But after such a long wait, I think people were desperate to see something that kept up with the game. And the second story, I believe, fell short of the first, making it a very similar mirror copy. With 13 years to prepare, we were slightly underwhelmed. Which brings us to the opportunity of 2025. Avatar: Fire and Ash releases in cinemas, and could it bring back the franchise to being the big staple name that we all believed it once was? I was lucky enough to catch this at Odeon Leicester Square about a week early, watching it in 3D with a whole Q&A with the cast and crew. So before I start, yes, I was given the best treatment I could have had. Watching it in 3D and a screen that size with the Dolby Surround and a Q&A is definitely something to heighten the mood before you even start. Fire and Ash pretty much kicks off from the ending of The Way of Water. Still following a troubled family with the loss of their previous son and still battling their way against the humans trying to take over. This time we are introduced to another clan. The Manqua clan, otherwise known as the Ash People. These are a rogue group of almost pirates that seem to be hijacking internal trade between the Na'vi people. And after seeing how aggressive they are and how they react to human weapons, they become an immediate threat. And after Varang, the Tashik or spiritual leader, meets Stephen Lang's character for the first time, they immediately head it off to become the bad guys of the series. Kind of as expected. Now this didn't seem to catch anyone off by surprise. I think we were all expecting to see the big bad guys fight it off. But it was how they did it that could be the game changer. While all this turmoil was unwrapping, we are able to develop deeper into some of the underlying characters that we definitely knew had more of a story to tell. Avatar: The Way of Water left us with Sigourney Weaver's character Kiri clearly playing a large part to the story that yet hadn't been unravelled. And this film finally answers that question. The main problem that she had was that she was not able to speak with Ava. And after finding out that truly she didn't have a father, she was born as sort of the next in line to the mother tree, a direct descendant of Awa. Now finally, this might be the first ammo or weapon that the Na'vi people have that could potentially save their people. But it wouldn't be a film if you didn't have one weakness. And of course, that is Spider. A lot of people believed that he was a weaker character in The Way of Water. His acting capabilities weren't entirely there, and a lot of people found him just irritating. But was this the film that could redeem himself and bring him up to scratch? And the answer to that is maybe. Kiri is able to show us the power of Awa, allowing the power of the Earth to be able to breathe the Pandorian air. And as expected, this is a huge possible threat against the Na'vi to the humans. If the humans can find out how to breathe, there'll be nothing stopping them from taking over Pandora for good. Now I have to say that I am grateful that this film has spiced up the story slightly. After The Way of Water, I wasn't entirely sold, and I was worried that if this third film didn't lock me in, it would have lost me to the franchise. This film had something that brought me back, and made me excited for what is potential of a 4 and 5. But of course, you can't deny how beautiful this film looks, and I think that's kind of expected. After such a long time and such technological achievements, you would expect this film to be potentially the best looking film you've ever seen. And if you watch this in the right setting, with the right 3D glasses, it has that opportunity. It is a mind-boggling experience, something that you can't forget or you can't even explain to people. It's almost like seeing colour for the first time again. Tying this with the story, does it make it a good film? The way I would describe it is this is a good The Way of Water. I think the first film is a standalone achievement that can't really be compared to the other two. The Way of Water, I believe, was a slight letdown other than its visual appearance. But Avatar Fire and Ash is a better version of The Way of Water. I believe we are finally moving in the correct direction to set up what could be an amazing franchise. James Cameron has explained that if Avatar Fire and Ash flops, then 4 and 5 potentially will not be made and we'll be left on this weird cliffhanger. But now, after watching this film, I believe that this may be perceived by audiences in a different way and we will get 4 and 5. After listening to a Q&A with Sigourney Weaver and Stephen Lang themselves, they spoke very highly on what could come next for 4 and 5. Which would explain a lot. 3 felt like the end of a saga, the end of a trilogy that allows us to move into the next stage of the Pandorian story. And the way they described it, that's exactly what's going to happen. 4 is described to be a separate story to the rest of what we've seen so far. A brand new narrator, a brand new story, and potentially a time jump. Avatar Fire and Ash has been described like the end game of this trilogy, starting a new saga directly afterwards, with rumours that we will be returning to Earth. So with Avatar 4 and 5 to come, I think we have a lot to look forward to. There is no denial that this is a cinematic achievement and something that we can all enjoy or shut your brains off to. As always, I'm appreciative for anyone that's tuned in and watched. If you enjoy my content or want to see more of my reviews, make sure to like, comment, and hit the subscribe button for more. Thank you very much.